Hello, church. It's so good to be with you today. I hope you caught Jason's sermon yesterday as part 2 of our vision series to launch the year on the way, the truth, and the life. And if you haven't, I just encourage you to do that. We're in Proverbs 6 today, so it's really divided into a couple of pieces. The author of Proverbs, whom we believe is Solomon, has also extended another section about adultery, so just be prepared for that as you read. But the opening heading is warnings against folly or foolishness, depending on what translation you have. So I think that this is appropriate. We live in a world of extremely prevalent foolishness everywhere. I mean, it is everywhere. It's just good advice all the way around. So there's a couple of passages I want to take us through today. So it was suggested recently to me that we should just go ahead and rename this the Take 7. But for now it's the Take 5, but I think we'll be beyond that. So I want to read 2 passages that are significant. There are so many nuggets in here. It was hard to choose exactly what to cover. But I want us to go to verse 16 first, because this is one of the few places that tells us that there are 6 things the Lord hates and 7 that are detestable to him. So I want you to think about what it means for the Lord, the God of love and mercy, to hate something, right? To put that in the terms of what that might look like. And right, so in verse 16, it says, there are 6 things the Lord hates, 7 that are detestable to him. Haughty eyes, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked schemes, feet that are quick to rush into evil, a false witness who pours out lies, and a person who stirs up conflict in his community. All of these, for reasons that you can imagine, are not good. Haughty eyes is that when you look down on someone, right? So Dee Dee and I knew somebody that was in our life, kind of in the edges of our life, that like to use their wealth and presence as a way to make us feel smaller, less valuable in the community. Just somebody for whom haughty eyes comes to mind. A lying tongue is obvious. Read the book of James. James has the most to say about the dangers of a tongue. We all know that part of the reason we're doing this series is that there is a truth, and the truth belongs to Jesus. And the world is filled with lies that Timothy would tell you itching ears want to hear. Hands that shed innocent blood. I mean, I think look at what's happening on the continent of Africa. We're seeing Christians martyred and killed all the time. I think we see innocent people being killed in Ukraine with senseless bombing from Russia. I mean, the world is no shortage. In our own country, this happens frequently, the shedding of innocent blood. A heart that devises wicked schemes. And so think about all those people that steal money from the elderly through schemes, right? God hates that. He hates that. Then there are feet that are quick to rush into evil. These are people that are actually seeking and looking for ways to be destructive. A false witness who pours out lies. So it's one thing to have been a liar, but it's another thing to then leverage those lies to hurt someone else. This is what God hates. And the last thing is a person who stirs up conflict in the community. I'm just going to slap God with a high five and say, man, I can't agree more. Nothing's worse for a pastor than to have somebody in your church that is stirring up conflict in the community. And I am so thankful that it's not our story and I don't have to deal with that very often. So these are 7 things that God just wants to vomit over, right? Do we understand that? That it just doesn't get any worse for him, right? So this is something that should cause us to pause and take a look at them. And I want to believe with confidence that this is not any of us, and that this is not something that we should have to worry about. But I do think it is something we should be aware of. I think it is easy for us to sometimes begin to think we're better than other people. I think there's some places where we can slip into the slippery slope of going down this trail of things that God hates. All right, passage number 2 that I want to share. I'm going to share it quickly. It's going to make a lot of sense. Won't need to break it down, but it is incredible advice. It says this in verse 20, my son, keep your father's command and do not forsake your mother's teaching. Well, already off the bat, for anybody who's younger, listen to those words, right? You know, it's funny how I think this is universally true. None of us thought our parents were very bright people when we were in our teen years, and somewhere about mid-20s, and when we start having our own children, all of a sudden we look back and our parents were geniuses. This is essentially what he says. And whatever those commands and teachings are, verse 21 says, bind them always on your heart, fasten them around your neck. When you walk, they will guide you. When you sleep, they will watch over you. When you awake, they will speak to you. For this command is a lamp, this teaching is a light, and correction and instruction are the way to life. So in other words, if you listen to your father's commands, if you take heart of your mother's teachings, they are with you always. Even to this day, my late mother, God rest her soul, who was just an amazing woman, just an amazing Nana, a great role model for Dee Dee as Nana. I still think of things that she says, right? She used to talk about children who were born into difficult situations, whether that was into a single home or in a home that was not healthy or like situations that we in the church would say, oh, I don't know, that's about, unwed mothers, blah, 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 blah. My mother used to say about these children all the time, these are children for whom God loves deeply, and they could not control how they got here. So it is our job to make sure that they're loved when they arrive. That's great wisdom. I've carried that with me my whole life. So I'm sure that there are things like this in your life. So just this second passage is a reminder that we're surrounded by wisdom. Take it to heart, put it around our necks, carry it with us always. It'll greet us in the morning. It'll take us to bed at night with peace in our soul. I love you, and they're grateful that you sat through this. And we're going to see what Proverbs 7 has, but man, it just gets richer and richer every week. Have a great week, church.